Okay, let's jump into JanPro's policies and procedures. Okay, let's move into the third quarter, policies and procedures. We're going to talk about receiving your monthly payment, special services performed for the customer, the revenue fee, transfers and exchanges of customer accounts, consequences of poor service, cancellations, and absences from your business. Receiving your monthly payment, subject 15. Each month, we will settle with you the amount invoiced to your customers from the previous month after deducting fees and any other amounts that you may owe us. Conditions to receive a prompt payment: submit a completed franchise monthly invoice. Again, in JanHub, it's very simple to do. We'll show you how to do that, so the invoices should go very simply. The deductions will deduct any money you owe us, for example, any fees, charges, chargebacks, supplies that you may have purchased, and if it's a negative balance, then you must be paid immediately, or we'll deduct it from the money we receive in the future from your accounts. Receiving your monthly payment. After you invoice us each month, our preferred method of paying your invoices is through an ACH or direct deposit. Several advantages to having that, having your business bank account. One is your direct deposit, you get consistency. It's going to be deposited on the same day, same time. You're not subject to any type of mail delays or the office being closed for any reason at all. And usually it is submitted or deposited sooner than an office pickup or mail. If you have to, on an exclusive or exception basis, you can pick up your payment at our regional office between 2 and 5. And if you give us prior authorization, we can drop it in the mail to you. But again, the preferred method is the ACH direct deposit. Special payments advances. We may advance payments to you for unpaid customer billings, but we are not required to do so. Any advances may never total more than half your monthly billings. We may make these advance payments whether or not the accounts have paid us, and we may recall any advances made at any time. Under these circumstances, we may make advances. The advance does not create a precedent for you or anyone else. The situation probably won't happen again, so kind of a one-time thing. You may request in writing between the 10th and 25th of the month. We'll deduct the advance from that month's payment on the last day of the month. You date and sign the request, and you state a specific amount in dollars on your request. So this is not something that we do as a normal course of business, but we may do that if there's a special situation. Bring it up to your FS, your field service representative, and we can talk about that. If we advance payments to you for customers that have not yet paid and you do not have the assurance plan, and the customers still have not paid 90 days after the invoices were issued, you must repay us the advance through a chargeback. We'll deduct the chargeback from your next payment. However, if the customer in the future pays that back, then we'll forward you any money that we owe or have collected in your next monthly payment. We'll try to respond to any of your questions or inquiries, including those about accounts receivable. We try to answer accurately, but sometimes customers have not actually paid even when they claim that, quote unquote, the check is in the mail. In these cases, we'll ask you to contact the customers directly to assist with the collection process. Again, we're in this together. We're partners. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So if a customer is not paying, we're going to make you aware of it. You might have a better relationship, so you can go to them and say, hey, what's going on? But we may decide to suspend services if that customer is not paying. If there are any increases or decreases in your monthly billing rates in your customer cleaning contracts, your monthly statement will reflect any changes that we receive before the end of the month. Any changes that we receive after the end of the month will show on your next month's statement. Garnishment. The government may notify us that we must garnish your payments. The following are examples of garnishments: federal and state taxes, child care orders, financial institutions, civil court judgments. So understand that these are out of our hands if a government notifies us that these are due and we need to deduct and pay those. Receiving your monthly payment. As you all are aware, there are different fees that come out from the gross revenue on our monthly statements. Those are royalties, support, if you have any notes that are applicable, if you purchased any equipment or chemicals, the business protection or the insurance plan, any transfer fees if you transferred an account, and of course the assurance fees. These are all deducted off of the gross, and that is reflected on the statements. Currently, just to go through and make sure you're clear on those, our royalties are 10%, our support fees are 5%, the notes are whatever they happen to be if you have them, whatever the equipment and chemical purchases that you've done. The business protection or the insurance plan is currently at 7%. Transfer fees if they're applicable, and then our assurance fees are at 2%. Specials are special services performed for JanPro customers. Under your franchise agreement, all cleaning services you perform for your JanPro customers, not your own, including special services, must be contracted through JanPro. We will invoice the customers for special services once the extra work authorization completion forms are completed and turned in. Typically, your FSR is going to do those. These would include things such as isolated cleanings, initial cleanings, specials like carpet cleaning or hard floor care, window cleanings, extra cleanings, or one-time cleanings. On the JanPro special services, we charge an administrative fee instead of a sales and marketing fee of 10% for billings and for special services. And the support fees and royalty fees are charged on all services. Subject 17, upgrade fees. So as you knew from your franchise agreement, that if we fulfilled your initial plan, then we have a process called an upgrade fee or sales and marketing fee, they would call that. And so if we offer you, again, business above your initial plan, we charge this fee. And this holds true whether the customer resulted from additional new business or increased business in an existing account, partial amounts of contracts that exceeded the initial business offering, or any transferred accounts. So for example, if you're doing business with us that is over $20,000 per year of gross revenue, the upgrade fee would be 4 times the amount. If your business is currently under $20,000 a year of business, then it would be 5 times the amount. So in this example, let's say that there's an increase of a $250 per month in account. We would take that $250, multiply it by 4. So your upgrade fee, if your business was over $20,000 a year, would be $1,000. Likewise, if you were under, we'd multiply it by 5. Your upgrade fee would be $1,250. Where are there no credits for upgrade fees? Under the following conditions, we will not credit you for upgrade fees for customers you have serviced. Service problems such as theft, missed service, poor service, or failure to keep scheduled dates. The customer wrote and asked for a change in franchise owner or cancellation of service. Or you've serviced a customer for longer than the contract is guaranteed, beyond a year, let's say. You violated your franchise agreement. You have not complied with the current policies and procedures. Or within 30 days of a contract's termination, you did not request credit for upgrade fees and did not provide proper documentation. Or you stopped serving a customer before we could replace you with another franchise owner, we would not give you a credit for the fees that we charged you. All right, finishing up with upgrade fees. Cancellations. If a customer cancels for reasons other than closure or relocation out of our market area, you must still pay the upgrade fee for that customer. We may require you to immediately pay the balance of any promissory note associated with that customer. Returning a customer account. Except as provided in the Policies and Procedures Manual, if you return a customer account to us, we will not credit you for the upgrade fee. We will make an exception if the customer is in good standing and serves as part of an exchange for larger customers that we have approved in writing. So if the customer cancels because of your service, or you return it and it's not in good standing, then you will still owe the balance of that upgrade fee. Use of customer accounts. Reasons that you may want to transfer. Repeated complaints or policy violations by your franchise. Request by you, the customer, or our office. consolidation of your customers, or you wish to exchange a customer in good standing for a larger one. So please know that when we offer a customer to you, you need to look at it as this will be your permanent customer for as long as you're able to service that customer. But there are some reasons that we might approve some transfers, and those are some of those examples. Now, failure to provide service. If you fail to provide service to a customer 3 or more times in a 90-day period, we may immediately transfer that customer to another franchise owner. So that's probably something that will be on the test as well. If you have repetitive complaints, if we receive 3 or more complaints against you within a 180-day period, we may immediately transfer the customer to another franchise owner. It's hard to get a customer, so we want to fight very hard to keep that customer. So if we're getting complaints, then we have no choice but to transfer that customer. Other reasons that we may transfer or exchange a customer: policy violations. If you violate the policies and procedures manual, or you default under your franchise agreement, we may transfer your customer. Also, fees. If a transfer is completed because you failed to fulfill your obligations, we may charge you a complaint fee of $50 per complaint or issue. So on the test, you're going to see lots of things where it asks you about fees. And typically, if you go to $50, you'll be 99% correct on that. But if we do have to do it because of a transfer customer because of your violation, then you could be subject to a $50 complaint or issue fee. Now let's say that there is a transfer that you're requesting. So we can transfer at your request with written documentation at least 30 days before you would like the transfer completed. And here's some guidelines. Continue servicing the customer until we complete the transfer. Maintain the customer in excellent condition. If you fail to do so, we will not transfer it. You must restore it to that condition before the transfer proceeds. Receive no complaints for 60 days up to that point of transfer. Determine the customer has not been transferred within the past 12 months. Obviously, we don't want to keep changing cleaning teams for each customer. One thing we offer our customer is consistent service with a consistent team. Obviously, cooperate in the transfer. And you will not receive credit for the account if you have serviced it for longer than the guaranteed period and or paid for it by financing. So we're not going to give you credit back on that account. So how do upgrade fees work in a transfer situation? Only one franchise owner, either the transferring franchise owner or the new franchise owner, will pay the upgrade fees. And so we'll explain it on the next slide. So in any transfer situation, we will not owe the transferring franchise owner any refunds or rebates on fees the transferring franchise owner paid for that customer's contract. So if the customer does not cancel for 60 days after the transfer, we will then cancel any remaining balance of the upgrade fee the transferring franchise owner owes for that customer. Remember, this is where the franchise owner is requesting to transfer the account, so they're the transferring franchise owner. If the customer does cancel during the 60 days following the transfer for any reason that is not the new franchise owner's fault, the transferring franchise owner must pay the entire remaining balance on its upgrade fees for that customer, including the suspended amount. So they would be responsible for the entire upgrade fee if that customer cancels for any reason that's not due to the new franchise owner's service. Finally, if the customer cancels during the 60 days following the transfer for a reason that is the new franchise owner's fault, so maybe it's service related, we'll then cancel any remaining balance of the upgrade fees for the transferring franchise owner owes for that customer. So what is the impact on the new franchise owner? So when a customer is transferred, the new franchise owner has 60 days to secure that customer. During this time, that new franchise owner will pay us an upgrade fee on the customer in accordance with the new franchise owner's customer acceptance agreement with us. If that customer cancels during the 60 days following the transfer for any reason that is not the new franchise owner's fault, we'll credit the new franchise owner all of the upgrade fees paid on that customer. It'll appear on miscellaneous credit on their next monthly statement. If that customer cancels during the 60 days following the transfer that is the new franchise owner's fault, we will charge the new franchise owner the remaining balance of the upgrade fees for that customer. Now let's talk about exchanging an account for a larger one. If you want to exchange it for a larger one, we must receive your written request 30 days before the proposed date of exchange. For us to proceed with this type of transfer, the customer must be satisfied with your service, agree to the transfer, and remain active. If that's the case, we will possibly request a written verification of the customer's agreement to transfer, inspect the customer's facility with you to make sure the premises are in excellent condition, make the transfer as soon as reasonably possible. We want to make this smooth for them. If we approve this type of transfer, you must continue to provide the customer with quality service until the exchange is complete and assist with the transfer. So again, this is if there's a larger one that is an opportunity for you to take on and you want to give up a smaller one, then we need to follow these steps. How do the upgrade fees for an exchange account work? So when you transfer a customer for a larger account, we'll subtract the gross monthly billing of the customer being exchanged from that of the new account, and then calculate the total upgrade fee on the difference. So if you have a smaller account, you have some upgrade fee, whatever that fee was, we're going to deduct that from the larger account fee, and you'll pay on that difference. Moving on to subject 19, consequences of poor service. JAMPRO, we give a guarantee to the customer. And the guarantee is if you fail to correct a customer complaint within 24 hours of the customer's notification or miss a scheduled clean, then you must perform an additional clean for the customer without any additional billing. If you fail to comply with the JAMPRO service guarantee, we or our designee may perform the additional clean, and we will deduct the applicable cleaning fee from your monthly statement. You also may be charged a $50 misclean or complaint fee. So our guarantee to the customer is if in fact you perform poor service or miss a scheduled clean, then within 24 hours we guarantee the customer we're going to go back and fix it. Again, if you don't, then we can charge you $50 and get it taken care of, or you need to go back and take care of that issue. Poor service does take away from the JAMPRO brand. So maintaining the standards, we must protect JAMPRO trademark brand and reputation. Therefore, we must ensure that you comply with the franchise agreement and your customers' contracts and meet the brand standards in cleaning for every building service. So when a customer contacts us with a complaint, we assure them that we'll make every effort to contact you. So we remind you of two important goals. JAMPRO standards do not permit a customer complaint to go unanswered for more than 1 hour. This will also be on the test, and this is an important part of our standards. Second, our goal is to satisfy all customers completely. You and your employees should provide service that exceeds the customer's expectations. So what should you do if you get a customer complaint? Well, communication is required. If customer complains or if our field service rep gives you or your employees a low rating, you should do more than correct the problem at the next cleaning. You should communicate with the person who filed the complaint, find out what you need to do in the 1 hour allowed. Maybe it's just make a quick call, letting them know what you're going to do to correct it, and then repair your relations with that customer. If you get an unsatisfactory inspection rating, in addition to cleaning deficiencies, our field service representatives are going to rate a cleaning as unsatisfactory, and it might be one of the following. It could be violations of OSHA, health and safety concerns, or customer concerns, or failure to correct previous problems. Again, respond within 1 hour, put a plan in place to correct it, and communicate, communicate, communicate. Subject 19, consequences of poor service. If a customer has a complaint and they make it directly to you, they'll most likely do it in one of two ways. They'll either enter it into the logbook or they will call you on your phone, email you, or text you. If they do complain to you directly, you should respond to the complaint according to their sense of urgency. If it's a highly urgent issue, we do suggest you call your JanPro regional office to let us know about the complaint and what your plans are to resolve it. If you come in during the evening clean or day clean and there's a note in the logbook to attend to it, we recommend you go ahead and take care of whatever it is, make a note next to it so that if they're not there, it can be communicated to them, and then make sure that you have resolved that issue. What are the procedures for handling complaints and unsatisfactory inspections? So if a complaint or inspection alerts us to a problem with your services, we're going to try and reach you within 1 hour. We'll call you at least twice. This is probably the third or fourth time we've repeated it here. Our brand standards do not allow a customer's complaint to go unanswered for more than 1 hour. So if we can't reach you, we'll contact the customer, we'll inspect the premises, and we will resolve the problem. If you fail to respond to our call within an hour, you'll see this again. We may charge you a complaint fee of up to $50. If we have to correct the problem or spend time cleaning and make your customer happy, we'll charge the complaint fee, and then again, a repeat of before. We can charge a service fee of $50 per hour plus expenses for supplies, equipment, etc. When we'll reach you, we'll explain the reasons for the complaint or the unsatisfactory rating, and we can provide you with the inspection report. If you do use JanHub, when you use JanHub, the inspections will automatically be pushed to your JanHub app, so you'll be able to see it right away and respond to it right away. Our field service consultant may request that you respond that day. If the problems do not require correction that day, you'll need to fix them during the next scheduled visit. If you don't, we'll charge you the fees as we described before under if problems persist. A field service consultant may also inspect your corrected cleaning on the day you perform it. If you don't correct the problem, you must furnish a free clean to the customer under the guarantee that we talked about previously. If the problems continue to persist, if you fail to respond to correct the problems to this customer satisfaction within the time allowed, or if your customer requests immediate transfer or termination because of frequent problems, we will transfer to another franchise owner. If the other franchise owner must provide an initial clean to return the customer to our standards, we'll deduct the cost of that from your statement to pay the new franchise owner. We'll stop charging you the sales and marketing fees on your transferred customer. However, if the new franchise owner loses a customer within 60 days, you must pay the sales and marketing fee still owed, as we talked about before. And we will charge and collect in the same month a complaint fee, as we've said before, $50 and $50 plus expenses to correct the problem. In other words, follow up, respond, keep customer service at the prime of your thoughts when you're talking about the customers or if they have an issue. Okay, staying with consequences of poor service. If we receive a total of 3 or more complaints from 1 or more of your customers within 6 months, or if you receive 3 inspection ratings of less than 2.7, you should make sure you're conducting a personal inspection of all your customer accounts. You should schedule a meeting with your field service consultant to make a plan to correct all problems and prevent future problems. If they continue, we may not offer you any new customers until you've completed additional certification. We want to make sure that what you're doing is going to provide you with consistent ability to grow and be successful. And then our field service consultant will contact your customers daily until you've corrected these problems. Again, we want to make sure we're delivering quality service, make sure you can be successful. If there is a complaint, we're going to follow up on all complaints and do so by inspecting their customers with you. If we observe that you or your employees have not followed the customer's contracted cleaning schedule, or a customer asks for a problem to be fixed, or if there's a problem such as possible theft, property damage, minor repairs, improper conduct, together we'll determine a reasonable time frame to correct it. The consequence, if you or your employees fail to respond or correct a problem to the customer satisfaction within the time allowed, or if your customer requests an immediate transfer, we may immediately transfer to another franchise owner. As we've said before, we could charge you a complaint fee and $50 an hour fee plus expenses for our field services time. Again, we're all trying to protect the brand. Consistent service, quality service, that is the goal. If for some reason you do need to cancel or reschedule a scheduled cleaning, must make arrangements in advance with us, with our regional office. If necessary, you should arrange to have another authorized Jan Pro franchise owner substitute for you. Again, if you fail to do so, your customer may request a transfer, and just don't reply on leaving a phone message with your customer. They should know. You should talk to them and communicate with them so that they know and are not surprised. If for some reason there is an unscheduled missed clean, so if you or your employees frequently miss scheduled cleanings without advance notice, so if the customer files 3 or more complaints against you in 6 months, we may remove you from all your customers. Again, consistent service is the goal. We also may require you to attend retraining before being considered for new ones. And again, we have the option to charge you those fees. Subject 20, cancellations. So why would a customer cancel? Well, maybe that they're going out of business. They might be moving out of our market area. They could be going in-house with their cleaning service, or maybe they did not pay for our services. They could have financial problems, so they're unable to afford our service, or they could be dissatisfied with the current service. So we always want to act professionally, because what happens is sometimes that customer, again, will request our service later. So we want to be very professional in our approach to cancellations. So along the lines of cancellation, if written notice, if either of us receives a cancellation notice, we must notify each other. If you fail to notify us, we could assess again the $50 fee and not offer you any business. We need to know in advance. Before you perform a final cleaning, or you or your employee should politely arrange with the customer to return the following: the keys, passes, security codes, any other material. Because, and this is important, if you fail to return these items promptly, we can and will charge you $500 per day plus any rekeying charges. So it's very serious not to get the customer their keys back on time. So what happens to a customer complaint and they cancel? If a customer does call to cancel due to a complaint, we're going to attempt to save the customer by following the procedures listed below. We're going to try and contact you for 1 hour. If we can't reach you, or if you cannot immediately visit and correct the problem, we'll charge you a $50 complaint fee and any remaining sales and marketing fees or upgrade fees plus expenses. Our field service representatives will visit the customer to investigate their concern. They'll try to find out the reasons for the cancellation. If poor service was a factor, we may require you to complete additional training to prevent the problems from reoccurring. During retraining, we'll recommend ways to avoid future cancellations. We want you to be successful. If after we meet with the customer feels you can still serve the accounts satisfactorily, we'll charge you a $50 hourly service fee plus expenses for our field people's time. If we must fix the problems ourselves, we may also charge you $50 per hour service fee plus expenses. So it's important to respond to any customer complaints very, very quickly and professionally. How could you be awarded new business following a cancellation? Well, we're not going to award you any new business until you've received no complaints for the next 60 days on your current customers that you still have. Transfer of account in lieu of cancellation. So we give a 30-day notification provision in our agreement, but they may not apply when a customer cancels due to service problems. So instead of canceling, if they accept a transfer, we'll use that 30-day transition period to reduce the damage to our reputation, JanPro's image. If a different franchise owner is allowed to service a customer, thus reversing the cancellation, and assuming you had a sales and marketing note on that customer, we'll put that on hold. If that customer does, though, cancel within 60 days of the transfer, you'll not receive any rebates or credits, and you must pay off the remaining sales and marketing note. We'll charge you the complaint fee whether or not the customer is saved. If you're going to be absent from your business, you should prepare in these ways. First, arrange ahead of time to have your customer serviced by another authorized JanPro franchise owner. Notify us in at least 1 week in advance so we're aware of it. Notify your customers of your absence. If you have not done so, and personally introduce the other franchise owner to them and provide us with a list of your customers, the days and times they're cleaned, name and contact number of the franchise owner who will be cleaning. And please make sure that franchise owner has a JanPro uniform and ID badge. and make sure that they understand all of the security codes and the scope of work with that franchise owner. If you are going to be absent from your business and you do not notify us in writing of this information, or you fail to introduce your replacement to your customer, again, we can assess the $50 fee. So if we must make arrangements for someone else to clean the account because you failed to fulfill your responsibility, you didn't show up, you didn't tell anybody, we can charge you $50 per hour for services in addition to the fee. So please plan professionally. If you have to go out of town, emergency comes up, please communicate with us, and so we know that you have a plan of action to resolve this absence. Okay, that completes the third round of policies and procedures, and we're heading into just the very last round. So we went over receiving your monthly payment, special services performed, revenue fees, transfers and exchanges, consequences of poor service, cancellations and absences from your business.